Calmness is not a sign of weakness. It's the purest form of inner strength. It is the quiet power that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to prove, and doesn't need to rush. When everything around you seems to be collapsing, when people misunderstand you, when nothing is going as planned, and your emotions are pulling you in every direction, that is the exact moment calmness becomes your greatest weapon. The world teaches you to fight fire with fire, to push back, to defend, to prove, to force things into place. But calmness is the art of realizing that you don't need to fight life. You need to flow with it. True strength is not in how loud you can roar when life challenges you, but in how steady you can remain when everything is trying to shake your soul. A calm person is not someone who doesn't feel pain. It's someone who refuses to let pain rule them. They feel deeply, but they don't react blindly. They understand that losing their temper, raising their voice, or feeding chaos only makes them weaker. They know that when the mind is loud, wisdom cannot speak. So they silence the noise inside themselves to hear the voice of truth that lies beyond emotion. Calmness is the language of power spoken by those who have learned that control isn't about changing what happens. It's about mastering what happens within. When life throws challenges at you, most people break because they are too attached to control. They panic because things don't go their way. They explode because they think reacting will fix something. But reaction never heals, it only drains. When you remain calm, you conserve your energy. You think clearly. You act with intention instead of emotion. And that is how calmness turns into your greatest advantage. It allows you to stay centered while others lose balance. It keeps you aligned with your higher self while the world drowns in confusion. It takes immense strength to stay calm when the world provokes you. It takes maturity to respond with grace when someone tries to pull you into negativity. Calmness means you have stopped living from your wounds and started living from your wisdom. It's the understanding that chaos around you doesn't have to become chaos within you. You don't allow people's storms to invade your inner peace. You watch, you observe, you choose. You decide what deserves your energy and what does not. That's real strength, being selective with your peace. Calmness doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring intelligently. You realize that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every situation needs a reaction, and not every misunderstanding deserves an explanation. You begin to rise above the noise because you finally understand that peace is more valuable than proving yourself right. Every moment of calmness is an act of rebellion against the chaos that tries to consume you. You're no longer reacting, you're responding from power. And that's when everything changes, because the calmer you are, the more control you have. When your emotions settle, your vision clears. You begin to see solutions where you once saw problems. You begin to see lessons where you once saw loss. Calmness allows you to transform pain into perspective. It gives you the space to understand that maybe this challenge isn't meant to break you. It's meant to teach you balance. It's meant to help you discover how unshakable you truly are. Calmness is built through faith. Faith that you don't have to rush what's divine. Faith that you don't have to chase what's meant for you. Faith that you can trust the timing of your life. When you are calm, you stop fighting time. You start believing that everything unfolds exactly when it should. The deep belief gives you freedom. It lifts the weight of trying to control every outcome. You start moving with life instead of against it. You realize that sometimes not reacting is the most powerful reaction you can give. When you master calmness, people feel it. You radiate an energy that cannot be disturbed easily. You become the stillness that others seek when their world falls apart. You become the proof that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of power. That kind of calmness cannot be learned overnight. It's built through moments of breaking and choosing not to fall apart. It's built when you are tested, betrayed, and disappointed, and yet you remain kind, patient, and composed. Every trial that once made you angry now becomes the training ground for your strength. So when life tries to break you, don't rush to react. Don't let fear or anger dictate your next move. Just breathe, step back, watch. Listen to that still voice within that says, you've been here before and you made it through, because you have. Every past storm that tried to destroy you only made you calmer, wiser, and stronger. That's how growth hides itself. It disguises as chaos, but it's always creating peace within you. Staying calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally understand that the universe moves in perfect order, even when it feels messy. You begin to trust that no matter how hard the wind blows, you have the roots to stay grounded. That's the power of calmness. It doesn't change the storm, but it changes you. It turns you from fragile into focused, from reactive into resilient, from anxious into anchored. And when you reach that level of calm, nothing can break you, because you've already built your peace where no one can touch it. Your reaction determines your reality. It's not what happens to you that defines you. It's how you respond to what happens. Two people can face the same storm, yet one falls apart while the other stands unshaken. The difference isn't luck, it's inner mastery. Life will always test you with moments that demand a reaction, but if you want to stay calm when everything tries to break you, you must learn the art of responding with awareness instead of emotion. The world will throw challenges at you, but only your reaction decides whether those challenges become obstacles or opportunities. The truth is, most people lose their battles long before the situation itself defeats them. They lose it in their reactions. The moment something goes wrong, they panic, complain, blame, or shut down. They drain their own power by reacting impulsively to every problem that appears. But reacting emotionally only makes you a slave to circumstances. Calm people understand this truth deeply. They may not control what happens, but they always control what happens next. That small pause between what happens and how you react, that's where your peace lives. That's where your power lies. When you respond calmly, you rise above the situation instead of sinking into it. You stop being controlled by your emotions and start mastering them. The moment you take a breath before reacting, you're already winning. That pause allows you to shift from chaos to clarity. It gives your mind a space to think, to evaluate, to remember that not everything deserves an emotional response, because emotions, while powerful, can distort perception. Anger exaggerates the problem. Fear magnifies the threat. Impatience blinds you to timing. But calmness restores truth. It allows you to see the situation as it is, not as your fear imagines it. Your reaction shapes the energy of your entire life. When you meet chaos with calmness, life begins to follow your lead. Energy flows where your attention goes. If your attention is trapped in worry, your reality becomes chaotic. But if your attention is grounded in peace, your reality starts to stabilize. You can't build a peaceful life with a reactive mindset. You must train yourself to pause, to observe, to respond with intention rather than instinct. Every difficult moment is an invitation to practice this. When someone disrespects you, you have a choice: to react with anger or respond with self-control. When plans fall apart, you can panic or you can adjust. When life delays your dreams, you can complain or you can trust the timing. Your reaction writes the story of your future. A calm response always leads to growth. A reactive one leads to regret. Imagine a lake on a windy day. The water becomes rough and cloudy, unable to reflect anything clearly. But when the wind stops, the surface becomes still and the reflection returns. That's your mind. When emotions blow like wind, your thoughts lose clarity. But when you choose calmness, when you quiet the waves of reaction, your vision clears and your wisdom returns. You begin to see things as they truly are, and from that awareness, you make better choices. Calmness doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you understand them without letting them control you. You acknowledge your feelings, but you don't allow them to become your voice. You recognize anger without letting it speak for you. You recognize fear without letting it lead you. That's emotional intelligence. The ability to respond from your highest self rather than your wounded self. The one who reacts from pain repeats pain. The one who responds with calmness breaks the cycle and begins to heal. Every time you choose calmness over reaction, you rewrite your destiny, because you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the creator of your reality. The calm person sees what others miss. While the reactive mind screams, "This is the end," the calm mind whispers, "This is just a beginning." When others break under pressure, the calm one sees patterns, lessons, and possibilities. Calmness allows you to see the invisible threads connecting every event, revealing how even setbacks are leading you toward strength. The way you react is also how the world reads you. Your energy communicates louder than your words. When you react emotionally, people sense chaos. When you respond calmly, people sense confidence. Calmness is silent authority. It earns respect without needing to demand it. The calmer you are, the more people trust your energy, because calmness carries a vibration of truth. It's a signal that you are not controlled by fear, that you can hold yourself steady no matter how hard life pushes. You can't control life, but you can always control your reaction to it. And once you master that, you master everything. You become untouchable. The same challenges that used to break you will start to shape you. The same people who used to trigger you will no longer disturb your peace. The same chaos that once overwhelmed you will become your training ground for greatness. So the next time something happens that shakes your world, don't react. Pause, breathe, observe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? And if the answer is no, walk away with grace. That is not weakness, that's power. You are not avoiding life, you're mastering it. You are choosing to respond from your center, not your chaos. You are reminding life that no matter what happens, your inner peace is not up for negotiation. Your reaction determines your reality because your energy attracts your experiences. A calm heart attracts clarity. A peaceful mind attracts solutions. A stable soul attracts strength. When you respond calmly, the universe mirrors that energy back to you. You begin to experience more harmony, more understanding, more ease. You stop chasing peace because peace begins to chase you. Remember this always. Every storm will pass, but how you react determines who you become after it's gone. The choice is yours in every moment. React from fear or respond from faith. Panic or patience. Emotion or awareness. One destroys your peace, the other protects it. Choose the one that builds your strength. Choose the one that aligns you with your higher self. Choose calmness, because the one who masters their reaction becomes unbreakable. Most of the chaos in your life doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from how attached you are to controlling what's happening. The truth is, you can't control everything, and the sooner you accept that, the freer you'll become. Detaching emotionally from what you can't control isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your peace. It's about recognizing that your energy is sacred, and pouring it into what you can influence is far wiser than wasting it on what you can't. The moment you stop trying to fix everything outside of you, you start healing what's inside of you. Detachment is not indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people, situations, or outcomes. It means you care deeply, but without losing yourself in the process. You still give your best effort, but you release the desperate need for things to go your way. You stop chasing results with anxiety and start trusting the process with faith. Emotional detachment is the understanding that no amount of stress will make life move faster. No amount of worry will change what's already written, and no amount of control will guarantee peace. True peace comes from letting go. When you are attached to outcomes, your emotions rise and fall with every situation. If things go well, you're happy. If they don't, you're crushed. That means your inner state depends on something outside of you, and that's dangerous, because anything external can shift, change, or disappear at any time. But when you learn to detach, your peace no longer depends on what happens. You remain centered whether life gives you what you want or takes it away. You begin to live in balance, not reaction. You will notice how powerful detachment becomes when you practice it in small ways. When someone doesn't respond the way you hoped, you breathe instead of overthinking. When plans don't go as expected, you stay calm instead of forcing outcomes. When delays appear, you remind yourself that divine timing is still perfect timing. Detachment creates space between what happens and how you feel about it. In that space, wisdom lives. You begin to act with clarity instead of emotion. Many people think that controlling things gives them power, but it's the opposite. The more you try to control, the more powerless you feel, because life cannot be forced into your expectations. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you let go, when you release your need to make everything perfect, you start to feel peace return. That's when miracles happen. Because when you're no longer strangling outcomes with anxiety, life has room to move, to breathe, to align itself for you. Detachment also applies to people. You cannot control how others think, act, or feel. You cannot make someone love you, respect you, or understand you. And the more you try to, the more pain you create. Emotional freedom begins when you stop expecting people to be what they're not and start accepting them as they are. Love without ownership, give without expecting, care without clinging. That's emotional maturity. the ability to be fully present with others without letting their behavior dictate your peace. This level of calm detachment doesn't come overnight. It's built through heartbreaks that forced you to let go, disappointments that taught you patience, and moments where you had no choice but to surrender. Every time life didn't go your way, it was teaching you the art of release. It was showing you that your peace matters more than your plans. And once you internalize that, you stop fighting the flow of life. You begin to trust that what's meant for you will stay and what's not meant for you will leave. You stop chasing and start attracting. Detachment also strengthens your focus. When you are no longer distracted by what you can't control, your energy becomes sharper. You put effort where it matters, on your growth, your mindset, your responses. You stop trying to manage the weather, and instead you learn to adjust your sail. You stop obsessing over outcomes, and instead you invest your energy in your actions. This shift changes everything, because the more control you release externally, the more power you gain internally. Think about the moments in your life when you were most at peace. It wasn't when everything was perfect. It was when you finally let go. Maybe you gave up forcing something that wasn't working, or stopped worrying about someone who never understood you. In that moment, peace arrived not because life changed, but because you changed. You decided to surrender the illusion of control. You stopped fighting reality. You started flowing with it. Life becomes beautiful when you stop chasing control and start trusting alignment. The universe doesn't need your panic. It needs your openness. The more you let go, the more aligned everything becomes. And the truth is, life always finds its way. Sometimes it doesn't give you what you want because it's protecting you from something that would have broken you. Sometimes it delays your plans because you're not ready yet. Trusting that truth allows you to detach without fear. The art of detachment is not about walking away from life. It's about walking away from anxiety. It's about saying, I can't control everything, but I can control my peace. You stop chasing people, you stop begging for validation, you stop overanalyzing why something happened. You start realizing that every unanswered question will make sense in time. You start believing that peace is not found in control, it's found in surrender. So when everything feels like it's falling apart, pause and ask yourself, what am I trying to control that's beyond my reach? Then release it. Let it go. Free yourself from the need to know every answer right now. Life is wiser than you think. Trust that whatever is falling apart is also falling into place in ways you can't yet see. And until it does, remain calm. Because when you learn to detach emotionally from what you can't control, nothing outside of you will ever have the power to control you again. When life starts to shake, when problems rise like waves and your mind begins to drown in thoughts, the simplest yet most powerful thing you can do is breathe. In moments of chaos, the breath is your anchor. It's what brings you back home, to the present moment, to your body, to your peace. Breathing before you break is not a small act, it's a sacred choice. It's the bridge between panic and peace, between reaction and wisdom. When everything around you is loud, one conscious breath can silence it all. When you feel overwhelmed, your breath becomes shallow, your body tenses, your thoughts race. It's a natural response to fear or stress. But that's when you must remember, the breath is not just oxygen, it's energy, awareness, and power. Each deep, mindful breath tells your nervous system, I'm safe, I'm grounded, I'm still in control. You can't stop every storm in your life, but you can stop yourself from being swept away by it. And it begins with something so simple. Inhale, exhale, repeat. There will be times when the world feels too heavy to hold, when you feel like screaming or running away. That's when your breath becomes your teacher. Breathe deeply and watch what happens. The tension in your shoulders starts to release. The clutter in your mind begins to clear. The fire in your emotions starts to soften. The breath is like a reset button for your soul. It reminds you that you can start again, right here, right now. Calmness isn't found by escaping what's happening. It's found by breathing through it. Your breath keeps you connected to the present, and the present is the only place where peace exists. Most of your anxiety lives in the past or the future, in memories you can't change or moments that haven't arrived. But your breath only lives now. That's why people who master calmness are often people who have mastered breathing. They've learned to pause instead of react, to breathe instead of break. They know that each slow, steady breath brings them closer to clarity. When you learn to breathe through the chaos, you train your body to stay balanced when your mind wants to run. Every time you pause and take a deep breath before reacting, you reclaim your power. You take control away from the storm and give it back to yourself. You stop fueling the fire with panic, and instead you feed your peace with presence. It may sound simple, but that single act of breathing consciously separates the peaceful from the reactive, the wise from the impulsive, the grounded from the scattered. Imagine a moment when everything seems to fall apart, a sudden loss, a harsh word, an unexpected disappointment. Your instinct might be to explode, cry, or shut down. But if you stop and breathe, even for 10 seconds, you interrupt that chain reaction. You give your higher self a chance to step in before your emotions take over. One deep breath can stop 1,000 unnecessary words, 1,000 destructive thoughts, 1,000 mistakes made in anger. The breath doesn't erase the problem, but it gives you space to handle it with strength instead of fear. Breathing before you break is a spiritual act. It's an act of faith that says, I trust this moment, even if it's painful. I trust that peace is still available to me. Your breath is proof that life continues, even in struggle. It's the reminder that no matter what's falling apart externally, something steady still flows within you. And as long as that flow continues, there's hope. The breath whispers, you've survived worse. You can survive this too. When you breathe through pain, you transform it. Instead of letting it consume you, you allow it to move through you. Every inhale gathers courage. Every exhale releases fear. Every inhale strengthens your heart. Every exhale softens your resistance. The breath teaches you that nothing lasts forever. Not the pain, not the fear, not the storm. Everything passes. But you must stay long enough in your calmness to witness the passing. Breathing also creates awareness. It forces you to slow down and actually feel what's happening within you. Most people don't feel, they react. They run from discomfort instead of understanding it. But if you can breathe through the discomfort, you'll realize it's not here to destroy you, it's here to guide you. The tension you feel is your body asking for release, not your soul asking for surrender. The breath helps you listen. It translates pain into lessons and confusion into clarity. And remember, calmness is not built when life is easy. It's built in the moments you choose to breathe through what feels unbearable. Every breath you take in those hard moments is an act of courage. It's you saying, I will not let this break me. I will meet it with peace. That's how warriors are made, not through noise and anger, but through stillness and control. Your breath is the most loyal friend you'll ever have. It's there when no one else is. It doesn't judge, doesn't leave, doesn't fail. It's been with you since your first moment on earth, and it will stay until your last. When you feel lost, come back to it. When your mind is a storm, let your breath be the lighthouse. When you feel like you're falling apart, breathe yourself back together so the next time life tries to break you. Before you react, before you cry, before you collapse, just breathe. Feel the air move through you. Feel your strength returning. Feel the storm losing its hold. That simple act can change everything because calmness is not found outside. It's created inside, one breath at a time. And when you learn to breathe before you break, you'll discover that no storm, no person, no circumstance has the power to take your peace away again. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Your energy is your life force. It's what determines how you think, how you feel, how you act, and what you attract. When everything tries to break you, your greatest defense isn't fighting harder, it's protecting your peace. The world will always have noise, conflict, and chaos waiting to pull you in, but you don't have to engage with all of it. Not every battle deserves your presence. Not every invitation to drama deserves your reply. Protecting your energy means understanding that your peace is more valuable than your point, your silence is more powerful than your reaction, and your calmness is your true strength. When you're calm, your energy becomes magnetic, but when you let everyone and everything drain it, you lose your center. Most people don't realize how much of their peace they give away every day to arguments that go nowhere, to people who misunderstand them, to distractions that offer nothing back. They try to fix things that aren't theirs to fix, explain themselves to those who don't listen, and prove their worth to those who can't see it. Every time you do that, you leak energy. You begin to feel tired, anxious, disconnected. Not because life is too heavy, but because you're carrying things that don't belong to you. Protecting your energy means learning to put those things down. There is power in silence. There is wisdom in walking away. There is peace in not responding. You don't owe anyone access to your mind or your emotions. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to explain your peace to those who live in chaos. When you protect your energy, you begin to live from a place of choice, not reaction. You choose where to place your attention, what to tolerate and what to release. That's not selfish, it's necessary, because without boundaries, peace cannot exist. Energy is contagious. The people you allow into your space influence how you feel and how you think. That's why protecting your energy also means being selective about your circle. Some people recharge you just by being near them. They inspire, uplift, and bring clarity. Others drain you through negativity, gossip, or emotional chaos. You must learn to recognize the difference. Protect your energy by surrounding yourself with people who make your soul feel safe. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to filter who gets close. The calmer you become, the more you'll notice how easily chaos tries to find you. Life will test your boundaries. People will test your patience. But the moment you realize you don't have to react, you gain your power back. The calm person is not easily provoked because they've learned that peace is not free. It's something you defend daily through awareness and restraint. Protecting your energy means learning to pause instead of react, to step back instead of step down. It's choosing your battles wisely and letting silence speak where words would only add noise. You have to start treating your peace like the rare treasure it is. Stop explaining your calmness to those who thrive on conflict. Stop chasing validation from people who misunderstand your silence. You're not cold. You're conserving energy. You're not distant. You're discerning. You've simply realized that the world doesn't deserve all of you, only the parts that align with truth, growth, and love. And when you protect your energy that way, your life begins to shift. You attract experiences that match your vibration. You stop repeating cycles that used to drain you. You start to feel lighter, stronger, freer. There's a sacred stillness that comes with protecting your energy. It's the kind of peace that doesn't depend on quiet surroundings. It lives within you, even when the world is loud. That's the peace of someone who has learned not to trade calmness for temporary emotions. It's the strength of someone who knows that silence can speak louder than shouting. When you stay calm in the face of chaos, people start to wonder where your power comes from. They don't realize it's not from dominance or control. It's from inner discipline. You've learned to protect your frequency. Protecting your energy also means protecting your thoughts. The mind can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. When your thoughts spiral into worry, comparison, or negativity, your energy weakens. But when you feed your mind gratitude, focus, and faith, your energy expands. Guard your inner dialogue. Speak peace into your own soul. The words you repeat to yourself become the vibration you live in. If your inner world is chaotic, the outer world will reflect it. So keep your thoughts calm, your focus clear, and your spirit grounded. It's not about isolating yourself from life. It's about engaging with life from a higher level of awareness. When you protect your energy, you don't stop caring. You just stop carrying what isn't yours. You stop pouring into cups that never refill yours. You stop giving your peace away to things that have nothing to do with your purpose. You start choosing alignment over approval, calmness over conflict, and truth over noise. You'll know you've mastered energy protection when your peace no longer depends on circumstances. When someone tries to trigger you and you smile instead of react. When you walk away from arguments that used to consume you. When you choose to rest instead of justify. That's real power, the kind that cannot be shaken. Because in a world that's addicted to chaos, being calm is revolutionary. So protect your energy fiercely. Not because you're weak, but because you've learned the value of peace. Not because you're avoiding life, but because you're preserving your light. Your calmness is your clarity, your silence is your strength, and your boundaries are your armor. And when life tries to break you, it will find that your peace has built walls so strong that no chaos can enter. You will stand in your stillness, grounded and untouchable, because you finally understand that protecting your energy is not just survival, it's self-respect. Trust that every storm has a purpose. Life doesn't send you chaos to punish you, It sends you chaos to prepare you. Every storm that comes your way carries a message, a lesson, a hidden blessing disguised as discomfort. When you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see. The winds are loud, the sky feels heavy, and everything inside you screams for it to end. But if you can stay calm and trust that this storm is not random, something beautiful begins to shift. You realize that life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. Each difficulty that shakes your peace is silently shaping your strength. Storms are sacred teachers. They strip away what's unnecessary. They reveal what's real. They show you who you are when everything you rely on disappears. When everything is easy, you don't discover your depth. But when life becomes hard, when you're misunderstood, betrayed, delayed, or defeated, you are forced to look within. That's where growth lives. Storms test your foundation, not to destroy it, but to show you what needs to be rebuilt stronger. So when you're facing one, don't just ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because storms don't come to end your journey, they come to evolve it. The universe has a way of shaking you awake when you get too comfortable. Sometimes it removes what no longer serves your path. Sometimes it delays what you thought you needed to give you what you truly deserve. Sometimes it breaks your plans to protect your peace. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the things that once felt like endings were really beginnings in disguise. The storm that once made you cry will one day make you wise. The pain that once crushed your heart will one day open it wider. The waiting that once frustrated you will one day prove divine. Trust is the bridge that carries you through the storm. When you lose faith, you lose balance. But when you trust, you remember that even in your darkest moments, life is still working in your favor. Maybe this storm isn't trying to destroy you, it's trying to cleanse you. Maybe it's removing the attachments that kept you small, the fears that kept you quiet, the illusions that kept you blind. Sometimes chaos is the universe's way of clearing space for clarity. So instead of asking the storm to stop, ask yourself, what in me is being renewed? When you trust that every storm has a purpose, you stop fighting it. You stop resisting what is and start aligning with what will be. Resistance creates pain, acceptance creates peace. When you can look at your challenges and say, I may not understand this, but I know it's guiding me, you shift from victimhood to power. You realize that calmness in chaos is not denial, it's divine trust. It's saying, even if I don't see the light yet, I know it's there. That faith turns fear into fuel. It helps you stand tall when everything around you shakes. You may not see it now, but some of your greatest blessings are hiding inside your biggest storms. The people who walked away made space for those who were meant to stay. The job you lost pushed you toward your real calling. The heartbreak that shattered you awakened the love you needed to find within yourself. Every storm carries seeds of transformation, and the calmer you remain, the more clearly you can see them. The storm may change your direction, but it will never destroy your destiny. There's a quiet power in trusting timing. Sometimes you're not meant to fix the situation, you're meant to grow through it. The lesson isn't in controlling the storm, it's in learning how to stand still within it. That's where strength is born. Because strength isn't about never breaking, it's about learning how to rebuild with more wisdom, more patience, and more faith than before. Every scar becomes proof that you didn't just survive, you evolved. The people who rise from their storms are never the same. They speak softer but with more conviction. They move slower but with more intention. They stop chasing what's temporary and start valuing what's eternal. They become unshakable, not because life stopped testing them, but because they stopped doubting the purpose behind the test. When you've walked through storms and come out calm, you become dangerous, not in a harmful way, but in a powerful one. Because nothing can manipulate a heart that trusts its own journey. So when life feels unbearable, remind yourself, there is meaning here. The universe doesn't waste pain. Every tear you've cried is watering a future you can't see yet. Every delay is divine protection. Every closed door is redirection. You are being shaped into someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded than you've ever been. But you must trust it. You must keep walking even when the road disappears. The storm is not forever. It's a phase, a purification, a preparation. And when the skies finally clear, you'll understand. You'll look back and realize that the storm didn't break you. It built you. It stripped away what was false so the truth could emerge. It took you to the edge so you could find your wings. It tested your faith so you could discover it was stronger than you ever knew. That's the purpose of every storm, to remind you of your power, your resilience, and your connection to something greater than yourself. So stay calm. Trust the process. Let the winds blow and the rain fall, knowing that no storm lasts forever. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Every thunderclap is the universe whispering, grow. Every lightning flash is a spark of revelation. And when it's all over, you'll see that you were never falling apart. You were being rebuilt into something far more powerful, peaceful, and unbreakable than you were before. Peace is not something you find when life finally settles down. It's something you create within yourself, no matter what's happening around you. The ultimate mastery of calmness is when your inner world stays steady even as the outer world tries to pull you apart. It's not about living a life without problems. It's about developing the kind of strength that doesn't depend on the absence of chaos. Because peace is not luck. It's a choice, a daily decision to protect your inner harmony, to stand in balance when the world shakes, and to trust that no storm can destroy the one who refuses to be moved. When everything tries to break you, the most powerful thing you can do is stay grounded in who you are. You will be tested. People will misunderstand you. Situations will frustrate you. The path will not always make sense. But your calmness becomes your compass. It's what keeps you from reacting out of fear, anger, or ego. When you remain calm, you don't lose your power. You magnify it. Because true strength doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. It comes from knowing that you cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. The world teaches us to fight, to push, to prove, to shout louder than the noise. But wisdom teaches something softer, that calmness often wins battles noise never could. When you are calm, your energy becomes magnetic. You stop chasing, and instead, you start attracting. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with divine timing. Calmness brings clarity, and clarity brings direction. The moment you stop fighting everything and start trusting that everything has its purpose, you find peace not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. To stay calm when everything tries to break you, you must master the art of returning to yourself. Every time the world throws you into chaos, take a breath and return home, to your heart, to your breath, to the present moment. This moment right now is your anchor. Anxiety lives in the future, regret lives in the past, but peace only exists here, in this breath, in this awareness. When you live in this stillness, you start realizing that calmness is not weakness, it's awareness in motion. It's you saying, I don't need to control everything to feel safe. I am already safe within myself. There's something sacred about a person who remains calm while the world is burning around them. That calmness doesn't mean they don't feel pain. It means they've learned to feel it without becoming it. They've learned to observe chaos without absorbing it. That's the mark of spiritual maturity, when you no longer let the outside dictate your inside. It's when you stop mirroring the storm and start embodying the sky above it. The storm may rage, but the sky stays endless, still, and vast. You are that sky. Every experience that once tried to break you was secretly teaching you how to return to that stillness faster. The moments that used to drown you now only ripple the surface. The words that once hurt you no longer cut as deep. The people who used to trigger you no longer hold power. That's what happens when you grow in peace. You stop being reactive and start being reflective. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You begin to say, what is this showing me about myself? That shift turns chaos into wisdom and pain into progress. When you learn to stay calm, you become a mirror that reflects peace back into the world. You become a reminder to others that chaos doesn't have to win. In your presence, others begin to soften. Your energy influences rooms more than your words ever could. You stop being a part of the noise and start being the silence that brings balance. That's how peace spreads, not through preaching, but through presence. One calm soul has more power than 100 angry ones because calmness is rooted in truth, while chaos is born from fear. The more you cultivate calmness, the more life begins to align around it. You start noticing that solutions appear faster, synchronicities increase, and people treat you differently. That's not magic, that's alignment. The energy you give is the energy you attract. And when your energy radiates peace, the universe mirrors it back. The storms still come, but they no longer define you. They refine you. You stop asking for a life without challenges and start praying for a heart that stays peaceful through them. Understand this. Staying calm doesn't mean staying passive. It means responding with intention instead of reacting with emotion. It means speaking truth without losing your tone. It means setting boundaries without hatred. Calmness gives you precision. It turns chaos into clarity and emotion into direction. A calm mind can see what an anxious mind never could. That's why your calmness is your greatest advantage. When others lose control, you remain grounded. When others panic, you stay patient. When others fall apart, you hold your peace. And that's how you rise. So no matter what life throws your way, choose calmness. Choose peace even when everything around you screams for reaction. Choose presence when your mind tries to wander into fear. Choose stillness when everything feels like it's spinning out of control. Because in that choice lies your freedom. The world doesn't get quieter, you just get stronger. The storms don't stop, you just stop being afraid of them. You start walking through life knowing that nothing can truly break you, because peace lives within you. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that staying calm was never about ignoring the storm. It was about remembering that you were always the calm within it. You were never meant to escape chaos. You were meant to transcend it. The universe never wanted you to crumble. It wanted you to remember your unshakable nature. And when you do, you'll finally understand peace was never something you were chasing. It was what you were all along.